If your life feels stagnant, this might be perfect timing. As someone who's let almost every change in their life push them into stagnation, I've become sick of it. So I've looked back at 3 key moments where my life's become stagnant, and I'm going to tell you my simple 3-step process for never falling into it again. And it all starts with glorious failure. I've got 3 quick stories about failure. Depressing start, I know. But stick with me. I stopped uploading on YouTube over 9 months ago. Before that, I'd had about 6 months of sporadic posting, and before that, I had 5 to 6 months of real consistency and what I considered success. But as I was starting to see some success, I moved house, I had a breakup, grew a dodgy moustache, and I lost my direction. Without direction, you're flying blind, which led to failure. Not long after, I noticed I was putting more and more weight on. Not long before, I'd been at a weight where I felt really healthy, but my job was becoming intense. I was waking up at stupid hours, I was exhausted, and then I moved house again. All that change left me really stressed, and I do not handle stress well. The final nail in the coffin was when I stopped running. The thing I'd considered fundamental to my happiness and health became almost non-existent, and it happened not long after I'd completed my biggest running achievement, a sub 2-hour half marathon. Unsurprisingly, it all came from more change. Moving house changed all my routines, including my ability to run straight after work, or go to parkrun with my more local friends. And yet, while I was getting really worked up about all of these things for months, digging into the reasons why these things happened made it much easier to come to terms with. All 3 of those stories have really clear sets of achievements, goals I set myself and then reached. And they all started from a point of stagnation. I didn't have any direction, I had no routine, I was stressed out to fuck. And then there was a trigger, another big move, and things started to change. I took notice of the things that were stressing me out and made an effort to change them. I created a routine in my life that was more positive, less interruptive. Everything started to get better. To do it, I followed 3 steps. What is currently causing you genuine stress? Have you had a big change recently? Look at your foundations. Is it your relationships, your job or finances, your routines or lack thereof, your health, or is it your relationship with yourself? Write it down. With the problem or the change clearly defined, decide where you want to be when it comes to that problem. Be bold, but realistic. Make it possible, but maybe further than you can immediately see yourself. Focus in on one specific path, from you now to you then, that's your direction. Then, write down 10 ways or more that you could take 1 step in the right direction. Pick the one thing that would be the most impactful with the least amount of effort, and then take action, you rat. But the thing is, if you're feeling stagnant, you probably have experienced similar successes yourself, big or small. You just can't seem to keep them up. The peaks may be small, and the troughs may be big. The real secret you want to learn is how to understand momentum, how to keep rising and stop the falls quickly. Let me give you a basic physics lesson. This ball is the change you're making. The faster it goes, the faster you progress in the right direction. To get it moving, you need a force. That's the action you take to get yourself going. The more you apply the force, the more you accelerate in the right direction. Massive changes can require a lot of force to get going, small changes only require a bit. Still with me? So now the change you're making has got a bit of velocity up, you're moving in the right direction. With that comes momentum. The faster you go, the more momentum you create. This momentum is what you're going to use to keep you going when things get a bit difficult. They might be the habits you've built up, the plans you've made that you'll stick to. And they will get you through. You might just not notice it so much. You might have small peaks and troughs, but momentum will carry you through until the road starts to get bumpy and you start to decelerate. Because life throws up changes all the time. Some of them you can see coming, some you can't, some you do to yourself, some others do to you, but change will always happen. And this deceleration is when you start to stagnate. You slow down, you make less progress, and sometimes you completely come to a stop. So you can see how this simplified physics can relate very appropriately to our lives, but the difference is that life is complex. The ball is sentient, it has thoughts and feelings and can navigate its emotions sometimes, and so in some ways the ball can define how bumpy the road gets, or how hard of a hat it wears. I think my anecdote might be falling apart a bit. What I mean is, the bumpiness in the road is where direction is lost, it's stress, it's interruption. But looking back at each time I stagnated, I just let the bumps knock me around. when the way to stop it was actually to follow the same steps that had led me to that success in the first place, just in a slightly altered way. First, we recognise the change. If you have the luxury of being able to see a change coming in advance, then you can predict how it might affect you. You might be able to see where challenges will arise. If you don't have the luxury, the earlier you recognise and accept the fact there's been a massive change, the quicker you can let yourself understand what that means for your direction. Then we articulate that direction, and more importantly, tweak it. Review your direction each time you've faced a big change, or you know a big change is about to come up. Does the next step still match what it was before the change? Is there a different step you might now take? Have your goals changed? Tinker, tweak, and be honest with yourself. Finally, use this opportunity to take a small action in the new direction. Change is hard. Stagnation will happen. If you can take a small step in the right direction, then you can slowly rebuild or even maintain your momentum to keep carrying through in a healthy way. I've got some big changes coming up in my life, and if you do too, maybe we can try this together and you can subscribe and comment to let me know your progress. But all in all, just be nice to yourself. The fact that you even want to weather the storm is a step in the right direction.